All I can say about James Gunn and his plans and what he announced and what that video laid out for us, all I can say about that is thank God somebody gets it. Let me explain to you why it looks a little bit different right here. That's because I'm still in Istanbul, but only here for a few more hours. Still have all my equipment out, but I decided before I pack this all up, why not take advantage of it one more time before I leave? Take advantage of these few more hours before I leave and sit down and talk about something that just popped up not too long ago while I'm here in jolly old Istanbul. And that is James Gunn and his big announcement about his and Peter Safran's plans for the DC Cinematic Universe, which he is calling Gods and Monsters. I could tell you about it, but you know what? I got the man right here himself. He can tell you better than I can.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time.
Man, you damn right about that. Yeah, you did. Hey, that you did not need to say. That's no announcement at all. That's some shit everybody knew for a long time. I mean, that's something that we've been trying to tell DC the whole time, that everything is disconnected. Nothing makes sense anymore. The whole thing is a goddamn mess. And that is why he has come into the job of trying to make everything cohesive, make everything tight, make everything make sense. And, you know, you can watch the rest of this video online. I don't want to go through it. It's a 5-minute video. Go ahead, check it out if you haven't seen it already. It goes into details about his plans for shows, his plans for movies, his plans for animation, and even plans for video games, and how all of that is going to connect. No more of this stuff where people are confused about, is this connected with that? And, you know, what does this lead to over here? And what does that have to do with this thing right here? Hopefully, we'll have none of that moving forward. Hopefully. But I decided to come in and share my opinion because, like everybody else, I have one about this. Do I have any, am I concerned? Am I happy about this? A little mixture of both. Do I not like it at all? Well, let me just tell you this. And again, go watch the video to understand what I'm talking about if you haven't already, because we're going to be talking about just briefly the projects that he has coming up. And I will tell you this, and if you know me, then you know what I'm talking about. I am not qualified to talk about the comics that a lot of these things are coming from. I will tell you that right now. You know, I love comics, but a lot of these things, I haven't read some of this stuff in years, and it's out of my pay grade, a little bit out of my league. Some of these characters I've never heard of at all. These creature commandos, who the hell are you? Booster Gold, I don't know you, man. I don't know you. Get away from me. The Authority, I might have heard about you. I might have seen some about you, but I'm not quite sure. And others, I know their name. You know, like Damian Wayne over here. Now, Damian Wayne, I know you because your daddy. I know your daddy, and I'm tight with him. But you don't know much about you. I heard your name. I heard you mentioned. I heard your name thrown about, but can't tell you anything about these properties and their history or going deep with them. If that's what you want to hear, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. But I am very much, and if you know this, I've been called a Marvel bitch because I love superhero movies. I'm not that guy out there talking about, oh, I'm so tired, I got superhero fatigue. I don't have no fatigue. I'm fresh, I'm awake, I'm still good. I love superhero movies still. I agree with some people saying that they've taken over a little bit too much. You know, maybe, there's too many coming out at one time. But hey, you know what? I would be lying if I said I was not. And so, these loving superhero movies and also loving some of these characters that I've known since as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, just like everybody else, I know them and love them and have read some of their comics back in the day. So with that said, I think I am maybe not about the comics, but I do think I am qualified to come in and talk about the DC cinematic universe and, and what James Gunn is planning to do with it. I think I'm qualified to come in and have an opinion about this announcement that he made about this blueprint that they have moving forward. And all I can say about James Gunn and his plans and what he announced and what that video laid out for us, all I can say about that is thank God somebody gets it. Finally, somebody understands. I mean, I'm looking at this and he said a lot of things. He laid out a lot of information. He talked some shit. And I appreciate all of it. I do. But near the end of the video, I mean, all that was good, but near the end of the video, what's that you said, James?
Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us.
Thank you, DC, for finding somebody who finally understands. It only took you 10 goddamn years to do it. Listen, I've had my ups and downs with DC, but I've said this like I say about a lot of properties out there. Like I say about a lot of movies of all kinds. Like I say about a lot of anything, television, books, story. Story is what matters. And that was not I don't care what you say. You can work over at DC. You can work at Warner Brothers and tell me, well, yeah, no story. We really concerned about. No, you were not. That was not your priority in the beginning. Your priority is in the wrong place. So that statement alone right there makes me very excited for what James Gunn wants to do right here. And, sure, we're still talking about building a universe. And in this day and age where everybody has tried or is trying to build a universe, and a lot of them failing miserably, that does not apply to DC. Let's just get that straight right there. Just because Marvel came in and built their universe doesn't mean everybody else can't have one, especially DC. Let's not forget, DC started back in 1934. They beat Marvel by 5 years with their debut. So if anybody deserves a universe, it's DC. We just deserve for them to get it right. And that's what's been wrong here. That's been the whole thing that's been, I don't mind them building their universe. You should. Why wouldn't you? That'd be stupid if you didn't. But the problem with building a DC universe before, when they were trying to do it, under Zack Snyder and trying to make him the lead guy on that. The problem is that they weren't just trying to catch up with Marvel. They wasn't them just trying to get in there and rush in and catch that Marvel success. No, it was that they copied them. They copied them hard. And I know it's easy to go in and try to blame Zack Snyder, and to a certain extent, I wouldn't blame you for doing so. Zack Snyder is, I think, guilty of coming in and trying to lay his signature style on this universe and these characters where sometimes it just did not apply. It just did, this is not a one-size-fit-all thing. And his approach, I'm one of the people that actually enjoyed Justice League, but I will tell you, as far as was it a proper DC movie? No. Was it true to these characters? No. And, a lot of these movies were not that great. I'm looking at, Batman versus Superman, or Batman v Superman right now. Hated that movie, actually. And with Zack Snyder coming in and trying to put his signature style on these characters, not only did it not fit, not only was it the wrong tone, but it led to some silly-ass moments in some of these movies.
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name.
Get the fuck out of here with that. That was one of the most cringiest parts of any of these movies in the DC universe. Silliness. But the thing with Zack Snyder, I can't really blame him completely because it was the studio. the studio was trying to force him to stick to this roadmap and take shortcuts to mimic Marvel's structure. You know, it was they rushed to get a Justice League movie out there just so they could have their own Avengers. They rushed to have their own Thanos, Darkseid right here. And all this rushing, all this, this hurry to be Marvel, it was a mess. It just led to some really, really confusing moments as far as storytelling goes.
It's Lois! It's Lois Lane!
That's a dead end moment. We never really followed up on this. This never really played a part in the bigger picture. I mean, maybe they explained a little bit when Zack Snyder came out with his director's cut of Justice League, but that was a dead end moment. And years from now, when people watch this, when you have a different generation watching this, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck was that all about?" Where did that go? Again, why? Because their priority was not storytelling. Their priority were dollar signs and rushing out to be Marvel, to catch up with Marvel, to copy Marvel. It was never about story. There's so many damn dead ends in this universe. All these stingers that go nowhere at the end of these movies. This stinger at the end of Justice League where they're introducing new assassins and everything, and stingers at the end of Zack Snyder's director's cut. I mean, all that shit is going. It goes nowhere. There are so many dead ends in that roadmap. I'm surprised anybody went anywhere with this. Surprised that all this money. I mean, they made some money and whatnot, but all this money just, to me, wasted because it did not meet its potential. And listen, you can't. I'm not trying to hate on DC completely because, we still got some good things out of this. We got some great things and got some things that maybe I didn't like, but other people really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed. I like Shazam. I didn't really love it, but that's that is the big thing that we have here, man. With James Gunn's announcement, with what he has to say here, he is not trying to be Marvel. With this announcement that he's made right here, he didn't come out and say and that's the thing that really impresses me with what's going on right here, man. It looks like James Gunn is not concerned with being Marvel at all with this announcement. James Gunn is concerned with telling stories, as he said. If you look at this with the announcement that he made, now I might be wrong, but the coolest thing is that none of this looks like it's trying to follow the structure of what Marvel did. When he came in and made this announcement, he was not concerned with leading to some big ultimate bad guy, so we have an excuse to put everybody in one movie. He just wants to make good stories. Maybe acknowledge, everybody, that they are in the same universe. One person mentions another person. We see a walk on with someone, letting us know that they all exist. But he is not trying. With the news that he laid out, he said we're just trying to. It's a universe, but maybe he will be doing that. I don't know. He hasn't made a big announcement. I'm sure the studio's gonna probably try to force him to do it at some point anyway. But when he laid all this stuff out, he says we just want to make interesting projects within the same world. We want to experiment with animation and come in and do stuff. We want to bring in characters that people don't know, but have great potential. Nowhere did he say that all this is going to lead to the big final showdown with none of that. I think that's the biggest thing that has made me excited about this. He just wants to tell stories. And I appreciate that so much. Like I said, I could be wrong, but that was not the main selling point of this announcement. That they're trying to, have some big bad guy that they got to meet down the road. And that gives me a lot of confidence. That right there is even more exciting to me than the announcement he made with storytelling. I mean, The fact that you know everybody, every include. I mean, and King Kong and Godzilla even tried to like have their Marvel Thanos in there. You know, everybody that dark universe that Universal was going to do. You know, it led up to all the monsters going up and fighting. I don't know, Super Dracula or something. I don't know, but it's everybody was trying to follow that Marvel structure, and now you got DC coming in, and you know who's the rival, the ultimate rival competitor of Marvel, and saying that no, we're not going to try and do that. At least from what we know right now. Here's where I might have some concerns. So let me see here. And I will agree with Bridge Debo on something. There might be a little favoritism going on. But so he cleared up the whole thing about Superman and that cameo that he made in Black Adam. You know, and listen, I'm like everybody else. I love Henry Cavill. Think he's a great Superman. As far, I don't think he had the essence down based on what they wrote for him. But as far as the look, the physicality, and I think even the acting ability of Henry Cavill, yeah, we could have a great Superman. But they addressed the whole thing of how he was. Okay, I don't get this. I think they say he wasn't fired. He just wasn't hired. But yet they let him go out and make an announcement and say that he was actually. That he was in. I don't see any big. The point is he don't have a job, or he don't have that job. Y'all splitting hairs with that one. I know. Listen, Henry Cavill. I know he was excited for this, and I think that's why you need somebody like Peter Safran and James Gunn, because there was no communication going on. Now this is a billion-dollar company. And they let this man walk out there and announce that he was going to be the next suit. Yeah, go ahead, man. Tell everybody we got you. And let him announce that, and a week later they tell him, nah, you know what? On the other hand, you don't have it. That's terrible communication. I'm sure that's also part of James Gunn coming in, you know, after this has happened and saying like, yeah, well, we didn't tell him that, and under us, nah, that ain't him. But my point is with this is that I think this gets confusing because my whole thing about them starting over was to start over. My expression was burn it all down. Do not cause any more confusion. Do not have anybody trying to decide was this character or is this character still moving forward? Is this if that's the case, if we're using this character from the last universe that we have and moving on into this one, are they still connected? I would have told everybody, no offense, nothing personal, but all y'all get the hell on out of this room. Everybody's fired. And I would have just started completely 100% over. But that is not what James Gunn is doing. And I think it's confusing. Now he's talking about, you know, we want to get another Superman, so he's getting rid of he's getting rid of Henry Cavill, and that's cool. He has his plans for that. But then it sounds like they're keeping other people around, and mostly from his properties.
I work for the government.
Post office?
You think they'd let me out of prison to deliver mail?
that is Peacemaker. That's a James Gunn property. The reason why I bring up Peacemaker, now I don't know if we'll have John Cena come back as Peacemaker, but they did announce, let me see here. So they did announce Waller. I was trying to see if I have an actual image of Waller in here. I might just have to pull that up on another browser here. But everybody knows Viola Davis. Viola Davis has been playing Amanda Waller for quite a while. Ever since, what was it? Was it Suicide Squad? And that's the other thing. Why didn't I think about that? The Suicide Squad, which I loved, and which is where Peacemaker got his introduction.
Any questions?
Ah.
Very good.
Viola Davis, who played Amanda Waller, played Amanda Waller for a while, but let's keep in mind that she also plays a big role in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and also Peacemaker. So he decided to do this show that keeps her in there. And so, you know, is he keeping the people that he works with? Is he keeping the people that were actually kind of close to him? You know, he's keeping Viola Davis, but, you know, getting rid of Henry Cavill. So the reason why I bring this up, because I love Viola Davis. Don't think that she should not play this role except for maybe starting his universe over, rebooting it completely. I would have started fresh. I would have done something else. But of course, I haven't seen the show yet. I haven't seen all of his plans. I got my biases here on why they're doing that. But we'll have to wait and see. The other thing also that concerns me is they hinted that this whole thing is going to be rebooted, so you could have some crossover from the last universe because it's going to be rebooted from Ezra Miller's The Flash. Now, I thought that we were done with them. I got it right. I've been practicing my pronouns before I started this. I call them he all the time, and I've been practicing and trying to get they down and them and whatnot. So I thought that they were a problem. I thought that Ezra Miller was grooming girls and having cults and busting into people's houses and drinking their booze, but then they're hinting that, hey, he might be coming back. Or at least his movie's going to be out there and it's going to reboot everything. I don't know how I feel about Ezra Miller coming back. They said that they are trying to get help and they've made a lot of progress and everything is kind of cool and groovy right now. But if this guy I hate using these buzzwords today, but I'm just going to go by what I read. If this guy's a groomer, if this guy is, I'm glad that they are getting help, but if you've been starting a cult and breaking into people's houses and drinking their liquor, that is really the worst of it all right there, man. As somebody who loves his booze, I would be very hurt by that. But I don't know, this guy still seems problematic. They still seem like they have done things that are very shady that anybody else would have been canceled over. So I don't know how I feel about them coming back as the Flash. That just seems kind of weird to me. I don't know, maybe it'll be all right. I am excited to see that it's not just superheroes that they're concentrating on. I am excited to hear that they are going to be kind of creeping into horror, and that's going to be with Swamp Thing.
The Swamp Thing.
Well, I hope it looks just like that. Don't change a thing. Get that big rubber suit out there. Do exactly that. I actually love that movie. I think that's cool that they're going to be getting into horror and it's still going to be connected with the universe. I think that's another thing that could probably give them a little edge over Marvel if they get that right. Because I think James Gunn will be willing to go rated R with Swamp Thing, where Marvel, we saw what they did with Werewolf by Night. And Werewolf by Night was awesome. It was great. But it was still Marvel, it still was kind of jokey. It was still lighter than most horror out there. So, I'm just thinking that that'll be a good thing to be under James Gunn's Swamp Thing. Oh, trying to think if there's anything else. I do like that they are actually addressing now that all these other movies that happened, such as Joker and such as Matt Reeves' The Batman. Hell, you think get your ass off me? I'm glad that they are actually mentioning that they are Elseworld projects and they are not involved with the universe that he's putting together. Now, I also hope that DC does not force James Gunn to do, if these movies are very popular, these movies are huge successes, which some of these have been, I hope they're not going to force him to have his version of Batman meet the Matt Reeves Batman or anything like that, where they have the multiverse crossover. I hope those things stay separate, as if you ask me, they should. But I think it's pretty exciting that he has made it clear that those are Elseworld projects, have nothing to do with me right now. That's somebody else's business. So what do you think so far? And what are your opinions? What are your opinions about my opinions? Tell me how you feel. What is Angela the Terrible? I am worried that I'll never see Titans characters again. Love some Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Raven. They did say that you still have Teen Titans Go, if that's something that you're interested in. If that's something that you like. I do like, see, this is another thing. So if we do have still some connection to this other universe, and Aquaman is coming out soon. So if we do have some connection to this pre-existing universe, what does that say about the rumors for Oh, what's your boy's name? Jason Momoa. What did I say about Jason Momoa possibly playing Lobo? As you can see there, I use the term rumors loosely because that's all they are. Nothing's been confirmed at all. It's just wishes of the fans right now. But, you know, if you have Aquaman just coming out and that's going to be a success, and then you still have this attachment to this previous universe, what does that say about him coming in and playing Lobo? Now, Lobo looks so much different than Aquaman that you could actually have Jason Momoa play the character, and even if you did want to have Aquaman just make an appearance later, you could still keep those characters separate. But I don't know. Again, I just goes back to me saying they should just start over. But hey, as I said, man, that's me coming in and giving concerns. Most of what has been said here is actually very exciting to me. Most of what they mentioned in this video, with the emphasis on storytelling, and yes, I'm still going to say it, and what appears to be not trying to be Marvel, is something that excites me. I'm very, very excited to see what they do. You had me at storytelling. But that's just me. Like I said, I will continue to read your opinions out there. And as I said, not everybody's going to have the same enthusiasm that I do. I know that. And anything that and please tell me anything that I've said that you might disagree with. I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody. Anything that I've said that doesn't make sense, because like I said, I'm not the biggest comic book fan in the world right now. I like comic books. I just haven't read them, especially a lot of DC. So if there's anything that I've said wrong, or anything that I was out of line on, anything I'm speaking of that is out of my league, if I'm not in my lane, let me know. Oh, who is this? Amateur Mastermind. I think James Gunn is having the right approach. He said that he really wants these projects to be auteur statements and not just studio house styles. This showcases a diverse state and array of projects, and it seems like they are off to the right track with focusing on Superman, which Gunn says is a 4-quadrant film. That's one of the things that I think is great about what he said about Superman. While I love Henry Cavill, I don't know, Henry Cavill just seemed like a nice dude. Henry Cavill's one of those guys. He's kind of like the new Keanu Reeves. You just want to be nice to him. I mean, have you seen him? He's being all nerdy, building computers and painting little role-playing figurines. He's just looking like a big old buff-ass nerd. A sweet guy. You just want to like the guy. And I'm sorry this happened to him, but his approach, or the approach to Superman they had for him, was not that good. James Gunn seems to get it. I mean, I'm not saying things can't change. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try something new, but really, y'all, the whole thing about Superman is just, he's a guy that could kill us all. And we're just lucky that he's so pure. We're lucky he hadn't lost his fucking mind and just pretty much made us all slaves. That's what I love about Superman. This guy has all the power in the world, and we're just fortunate that he's a sweet guy. He's all about, as they say, truth, justice, and the American way. Well, the American way is not that great these days. I'm scared if he's about the American way. But other than that, he's a really cool guy, and I think James Gunn realizes that, and that's what he wants to go back to with Superman. That's why I had that picture of Superman sitting on a hill, sniffing flowers and everything. Let me see here if I find that picture that he had of Superman. There it is. That Superman sitting on a cloud, looking down, thinking about what to write for his next poem. That's the Superman that I like right there, man. That's just me, though. Like I said, I don't think there's no law that says Superman has to be a certain way. But somebody said it's supposed to be a better tomorrow instead of American way. Korey, are you more excited for the Batman or Superman news? I'm kind of looking forward to seeing a Robin again. Yeah, that is true, man. That is very true. I think that's a great statement. I mean, I don't know, and it's going to be really cool for me because I know a lot of you know Damian Wayne, but I don't know much about Damian Wayne. I mean, like I said, I've heard about Damian Wayne. I haven't read any Damian Wayne stories. I know that he's been described by James Gunn as a little son of a bitch. Because he was raised by assassins, so he's deadly. He's And Batman's like, I got to get his little ass under control. So this is going to be, and that's what I like about this right here, is that we're not just getting, the Robin that's the usual sidekick. Now, we have some interesting Robins, and they've gone on to find their own path. But like to have this Robin right here, where he's just getting on Batman's nerves all the time, like a son should do to his dad. God knows I did. That's an exciting story to me. So, I think that they've chose given the source of all these stories, I think they've chose some good ones to pull from. But that's a great point, Luke. I mean, it's great to see, because while I'm excited about the Superman news, it's still, hey, it's Superman. It's that we want to see Superman. We want to see old-fashioned Superman, but that's the thing. It's going to be the Superman that we've seen before. This whole new dynamic that we have with Batman, and that's his introduction with his son. I think that's going to be very cool. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass, Robin. That's what I want to be like. Y'all should go watch a show called Sanford and Son. That's what I want to be like. I want to be the Sanford and Son of Batman and Robin. Let's see. Korey, did you see that they want Green Lantern show to be like True Detective? Yes. Yeah, that is going to be amazing, man. That's one of these, they're not just telling these, see, that's the thing about what they're doing here. They're not just having these stories follow the same format. They're choosing different, almost like they're trying to choose different genres. Some things will be the same, because that's what we're asking for, like I said, with Superman. But them picking from different genres or different formats to tell these stories with superheroes, I think that that's very exciting.
Which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth.
That is going to be cool because we get the two. Now, that means nobody's going to have to fight with each other. We get two of the best Green Lanterns out there. Because everybody's going to be like, oh, man, I want the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Of course, black people going to be like, man, I want the John Stewart. Come on, man, represent. And so I think we kind of get the best of both worlds right here. And plus, we're not just getting another Green Lantern story. They're making this a detective story. And that's what I always thought with Green Lantern, man. Show the Green Lanterns as cops instead of just flying around and being superheroes all the time like we see them. Show them being space cops, man. And what's more like being a cop than being a detective. And I like that it's going to be taking place on Earth. I want to see what's going to happen with that. Although I always thought that they should be showing, Green Lanterns doing space cop stuff, but that's just me. Oh, let's see. What else y'all got? Oh, Training Day. That's what this should be. Batman and Damian Wayne, that should be Training Day, where Batman has to pull over the Batmobile every 5 minutes. We got a fucking problem, all right? Stop. Now that is what I would look forward to. They're not going to do it, but that would be kind of cool if they did. Oh, let's see here. Oh, no love for Cyborg. Nah, that man ran his mouth too much. He ran his mouth so much that he ruined Cyborg for anybody else. Ray Fisher. He ran it. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have. He was probably justified in saying the things that he said until recently when he started messing with James Gunn. And James Gunn like, what the fuck I do to you? But, listen, y'all, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of comics, especially on the DC side. Is anybody even really looking for Cyborg? I'm not saying he shouldn't have a show or a movie, but does anybody really care about Cyborg? I don't think you do. I'm just gonna put it out there. I ain't heard nothing. Whoever said this, you are the only one that asked about Cyborg. Ain't nobody else asked about no Cyborg, man. And as I said, Ray Fisher, he messed that up for anybody about to play Cyborg. Cyborg is about to probably blow up until Ray Fisher started coming out there running his mouth. Let me see here. I'll put Ray Cyborg up in here. I was trying to type it in. I wish Cyborg, because I think Cyborg has a great story. I think Cyborg is a cool character. I wish that there was something they could do with Cyborg. And you know what? Give it time, man. I know there's a Cyborg on Doom Patrol that they probably do a good job with. I haven't seen those episodes of Doom Patrol where they did that. But it's not that I wouldn't want to see a Cyborg. And I think give it time, man. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on right now. Cyborg is probably something that they just haven't tried to put out there yet. We'll see. I hope Ray Fisher gets something. You know, this man looks like he's been dogged out by everybody. Oh, let me see here. See what else y'all are asking. Yeah, somebody said the Doom Patrol Cyborg is fantastic. I bet, man. I bet. Somebody said Terrence Howard as Cyborg. Why y'all always throwing Terrence Howard in everything? I mean, I don't mind. I would throw Terrence Howard in everything. I treat Terrence Howard like ketchup and hot sauce, man. I'd pour him on everything if I could. You know, it ain't gonna happen. But I would love to see that. All this metal on me, man. Get all this scrap metal off me, man. I would love to see that. Yeah, Static Shock, man. Static Shock that would be a project that I would love to see. Now that's a character that has no love. And you know what? I think they could do Static Shock as, I mean, they had a Static Shock animated show back in the day. I don't see why we couldn't get a Static Shock another animated project, because I know they're not going to do anything with them live action right now. But a Static Shock animated project, man, I'd be down for that. That cartoon was actually, our cartoon was good. I saw some of it back in the day. They did a great job with that. Yeah, I'm all aboard on that now. Get that Static Shock project done, man. And I think, to hell with what I said a little while ago. Make a live action Static Shock show or movie. Again, Static Shock needs some love, man. Today, quick. Somebody said, I think Reginald Hudlin is producing and overseeing Milestone's comics adaptation. He's producing a Static Shock live action film with Michael B. Jordan. I want Static Shock in the proper DCEU or DC Cinematic Universe, whatever. Korey, you should read The Authority. They're basically a more malevolent version of The Boys. The Warren Ellis run is incredible. Hey, man, I love Warren Ellis, man. If you recommend that, I'll check it out. I will. I think we had a good discussion about James Gunn's announcement and more. So, yeah, folks, there you go.